welcome back to the channel, and welcome if you are new. Today is going to be something different. It's currently actually October 2nd. This video won't go out until October 15th. Sorry for the shakiness. I don't have John's tripod today, so I'm filming this by hand. Okay, so it's currently October 2nd, but like I said, this won't be going out until October 15th. This is going to be a different type of video today. So before we get into this, I do want to say, I don't know who watches my videos, so please do not watch this if you are under 18 without like a parent to watch it with you. This is going to be talking about miscarriage, so I really don't want, like, this is like it's a topic that is triggered, so I don't want people to watch this if you are triggered easily or whatever, or if it'll bring back memories, whatever the case may be. Also, if you have younger kids or siblings or whatever around with you that normally watch this, please go ahead and not watch this with them. This is going to be talking about, like I said, miscarriage. I'm going to get into like somewhat of a detail about it. So, I'm going to go ahead and get right into the video now that I gave you guys a warning. But here we go. We're going to start. We're going to get right into this now. So, yeah. So, I don't know if you guys know, but along with October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, it is also Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. So that's why I'm making this video. And October 15th is actually the day, I think. So the day that this gets released, October 15th, it is currently Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So a lot of people don't know, but August 27th, 2015, I actually had a miscarriage. This is before Kylie was born, before I was even pregnant with Kylie, so this was way before her. John and I actually were only dating for a couple of months, almost a year at this point. Well, almost a half a year at this point. Almost 6 months. I was working at ShopRite, and I went to work like nothing was wrong. Everything started on August 26th. So August 26th, I went into work like nothing was wrong. I go into work, and I started getting like cramps, and I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm just getting my period, whatever, everything's okay. I wasn't late or anything, so I was like, alright, because I was always irregular. I wasn't on birth control or anything, so I was always irregular. And I had a lot of stress going on with getting ready to start school in a month and working. And so I decided to just tough it out. I was like, whatever, I'll be okay. I'll just finish my shift and go home and rest. Well, a couple hours into my shifts, I was in a lot of pain. And I'm like, alright, let me go to the bathroom. Maybe that's what's wrong. Maybe I just have to pee or something. So I go to the bathroom, and I noticed like there was a lot of blood. And I'm like, okay, this is not normal. But I'm gonna go ahead and just toughen it out through my day. I'll be okay. So one of the girls gave me some, I believe it was Tylenol or Motrin. I can't remember exactly. So I took that. I'm like, alright, I'll be good now. Just let it kick in. Well, it continued to get worse and worse and worse, and I like was doubled over in pain. So my manager sent me home. And I was like, alright, whatever, like something's wrong. So I'm over there sitting at home, and I'm like in a lot of fucking pain. Oh. So I'm sitting at home, I'm trying to relax, and I'm in a lot of pain. And I'm just like, I don't know what this is from. Like, I don't know what happened. Of course, I didn't say anything to my parents or anything. I just said they sent me home early. I didn't want them to worry. Like, I also didn't want to be rushed to the emergency room or anything. So I just was like, okay, whatever, no big deal. So then I go into the house and I'm just relaxing, and I was texting my friend at the time. We're just gonna call her, I don't even know a name. I just want to make a random name because I don't want to put her out there like that, because I don't really talk to her right now. Well, at all right now. So we don't really talk. We've kind of fell off. I don't want to like put her out there. So I'm gonna call her Amanda. So I went over, I called her, and I was like, "Are you home?" She was like, "Yeah, whatever." I was texting her, and I'm like, "I'm in a lot of pain. I don't know if I should go get checked out or whatever." She's like, "Well, if you go, I'll go with you." And I was like, "Okay, whatever. We'll just go to Med Express, which is the urgent care right down the street from where I lived." So I was like, "All right, cool. Just come with me. I don't like going to the doctors, but something is wrong, and I want to get checked out because they did send me home early from work, and I want to be able to show them that I did get checked out." And so I go to the urgent care, and I'm sitting there, and then they take me back, and then they tell me ask me my symptoms, and I tell them like I'm cramping really bad and my period is very heavy and it's not normal. So I go ahead and go, and they check my vitals, all that good stuff, and then they have me pee in a cup, which is, I didn't think anything of it, because you're a female, you come in with abdominal pain, no matter where you go, they're gonna make you pee in a cup, no matter your age. Apparently, like 12-year-olds are doing that now. So I pee in the cup, and I come back into this room, and I'm waiting. Doctor comes in and says that I was pregnant, that I came back positive. They did a pregnancy test, and I came back positive. I'm like, what? Clearly I'm on my period. What are you talking about? And they're like, so you need to go over to the emergency room. I'm like, I don't want to go to no freaking emergency room. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's why I came here. So they sent me to the emergency room. She was like, are you going to drive, or do you want me to call an ambulance? I was like, no, I'll drive. So I go to the ER. Well, actually, we went back to Amanda's house first. And I'm talking to her mom, and I'm just like freaked out. And she's telling me I should go to the emergency room, like the doctor said, because it could be an ectopic or tubal, whatever it's called, where the fertilized egg gets into your fallopian tubes. Because if that's the case, then I'm gonna have to have surgery. And I could die. And she wasn't trying to scare me. She's just trying to show me the reality of everything. So she's like, go ahead and go over there. So I called my mom, and I told her, can you meet me at Amanda's house? I need to talk to you. So she comes over, and I tell her what's going on, and she's like, okay, let's go. I'm like sobbing my eyes out. She's like, let's go to the emergency room. I called John I texted John and told him. And he ends up meeting me at the emergency room, after I'm already taken back in the room. So at that point, it was me, my mom, John, and Amanda. Like I said, we're calling her Amanda. We're not going to give her a real name out. So I'm waiting in the back, and they take blood, and then they try to do an ultrasound, like, on my stomach, but they have to do an internal ultrasound and go up in me it was a wand, to see if they can find the baby. Because I was only about 8 weeks. So at 8 weeks, it was kind of hard to find with a regular ultrasound. So they were going through with the internal one, and that hurt. I'm already cramping as it is. I'm already bleeding, and you're gonna shove a freaking wand up me to find the baby. And I'm already in a lot of pain. So, of course, I'm sitting there, and they did that, and they found the baby. They said everything looks fine. So I get discharged. This is all August 26th, by the way. So I get discharged, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm discharged, whatever. They're like, okay, so you need to look for any, clots the size of a quarter, or if the pain gets worse, all that, if you're soaking through a pad within an hour, come back to the hospital. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And they're like, the one doctor goes, oh, I've seen plenty of babies be born, and plenty of moms have healthy pregnancy with this much bleeding. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, something doesn't seem right. Not at all. So I go home and I'm resting, and it's like, I want to say it's like after midnight. So at that point, it was August 27th. And I'm in a lot of pain. Like, it's getting worse. And I cannot, for anything, get comfortable in bed. And I'm like, why can't I get comfortable? So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go and check to make sure, like, I'm not bleeding through even more, like, a pad, even though, like, I just changed it. Let me make sure it's not bleeding. I'm not bleeding through it, and there's nothing, like, going on. So I go, and this is going to be graphic, so I'm not showing a picture, but, like, I'm going to describe it. So if you guys don't want to hear this, go ahead and stop watching now. So I go to the bathroom, and everything was fine. So I pee, and I wiped, and kid you not, there was, like, about, I want to say this big, maybe like this big of a clot, that came out, and it looked kind of like a little fetus, and I'm freaking out. So at this point, I'm like, I don't know what the hell that was. I don't know if I just passed the baby, which turns out later on that's what happened. So I called my mom in, and I showed her, and my mom's like, okay, well, that just could have been just a big clot. Just keep an eye on it. And then if we have to go back, we have to go back. So I told John, and I had told him, like, that I think what just happened. And I think I was texting a family member also that I was close with, but I'm not 100% sure. But I remember texting like 2 or 3 people that I was close with, I was talking to, and one being John. And I was just freaking out. So I go back, and I lay back down, and I'm able to go to sleep finally. It's like about, I want to say 2-3 o'clock in the morning at this point. So I finally go back to sleep, and then I wake up, and I'm still in excruciating pain. So my mom's like, all right, let's go back to the hospital. So we go back to the hospital the next day, which is the 27th, and they just take my blood again, like they did before, because they can check your count, and everything in your blood. So they're checking my blood, and they come back and say that my levels have dropped, so I'm miscarriaging. So at that point, like, I didn't register, like, I was just still like, what? Okay, sorry, I had to yawn. So I'm just like, what's going on? And then they're telling me, like, I'm miscarriaging, that they're gonna come in and do a D&C. And if you don't know what D&C is, they put this thing inside of you and open you up and take this cotton swab and just scrape along and make sure that nothing else is there. Because if you don't have a D&C after you miscarriage, you can get an infection, be at risk for an infection, and it would not be good. So they did a DNC, and then they got me out of there. I remember John was there with me because I told him I was going back to the ER, and he came with us. It was my mom and him. And I remember it wasn't hitting me. Like, nothing was hitting me. That just happened. So they tell me, like, I'm on bed rest for a couple of days. I can't really do anything. No physical activities, no work, no nothing for a while. I think it was like a week. So then I decided, like, alright, I got a doctor's note, I took it up to work. I decided just to go back. We went back home, and I kind of hung out with John for a little while. So he ended up going and getting me a boost, and I still, like, it wasn't registering that happened. And then the next day there was a concert, one of these free concert things at the library, so we went there, and it still didn't register. Like, I couldn't do anything. I was just sitting there watching, because my brother and John were all playing, like, hockey. I don't know why I just said hockey. They were all playing football, and with the neighbors and everything, because the neighbors went with us. And they were all playing football and having a good old time and everything. And it still didn't register. It finally registered, I think, the 29th at night. And then it, like, finally hit me, like, what just happened. Like, I just lost a child. So I didn't tell a lot of people about it. I didn't talk to anybody about it. It was kind of hard. Like, my family didn't know. My mom and my dad knew. But that was, like, it. My close friends knew. And if I talked to them on a daily basis, they knew. But I didn't go, like, around now announcing it. I didn't post anything on Facebook. Actually, I think I just finally posted something about it on Facebook about 2 or 3 years ago. I finally said something. Nobody knew. I didn't want to, like, process the thought of it. And I didn't, like, I guess because I didn't, like, really, like, feel at all pregnant. I guess it was just different. Because, like, you don't realize that there was a child inside of you. I was only 8 weeks. So, like, I wasn't gaining any weight. There was no bump. There was no kicks. There was no fluttering. So, it's like, it didn't register at first. But it did, like, end up registering, and I was really upset about it. And they told me they didn't think that I was going to be able to actually carry any children. That I wasn't going to be able to have any. That it was just going to be miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage. But little did we know, 3 months, August, September, October, about 3 months later, I ended up conceiving Kylie, and she's our rainbow baby, and she brought so much joy and light into our lives. But I guess just everything happens for a reason, and whatever that reason was, that child was just not meant to be on earth, for whatever the reason may be. Obviously, I don't know the gender of the baby, so there was no name picked out. I keep yawning. I'm holding it back, which is making me tear up so bad. So I'm trying not to yawn. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. As I told you, 2:30 last night, and we got up at like 9 o'clock, so I'm exhausted. But anyway, so that's pretty much my story. Like, I know a lot of people don't want to share their stories, but I feel like I just need to share my story. And every lost pregnancy or infant loss, it needs to be remembered. And people just think, like, people just forget about it, that it happened because they're not here. Like, no, that's not the case. And I still say, like, I'm a mom. Well, now I would be a mom of 4, but one's in heaven. So technically, Kylie would be my second child. My firstborn didn't make it. My first baby didn't make it. But everything happens for a reason, and I've been able to have 3 more pregnancies since, and no problems with miscarriages, knock on wood. And the 2 girls, that both came out healthy, and this one's so far so good, and we're at 32 weeks today. So by the time you guys are watching this, I'll probably be 34 weeks, close to it. But I just want to share my story because a lot of people don't like to share their stories, and I feel like it just needs to be said, and it helps to talk about it. And I know, like, they're better off not here, because whatever the reason was, it could have been the baby was just sick. It was nothing I did, and I don't know what the gender was. Like I said, you couldn't know at 8 weeks. I am so congested right now from yawning. My nose is all running. I'm so sorry, guys. I look a hot mess today. Please just, I'm over it today. But I just want to sit here and make it known, I guess, for awareness. It does happen, and it can happen. 1 in every 4 women actually go through this, and I am 1 in 4. And it's not easy, but it's also something that you just gotta get through. And remember, things happen for a reason, and whatever that reason may be, even though we don't know it, sometimes you're better off. Sometimes you might not be ready for a child, physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, whatever. Maybe you just weren't ready, and maybe that's why. Maybe there was something wrong with my child, and it would be less painful to lose him or her at an earlier stage than it would have been to give birth to this child and something be wrong and they pass away, or I don't know, whatever the reason was, is why that this child is not here with us and is up in heaven. And I'm learning to be okay with that, because God blessed me with now 3 children. 1 on the way down here, who keeps kicking me this entire time. But they will always have a guardian angel looking over top of them, along with obviously my dad and all of our friends that we have lost and all of our family that we have lost. And it was just meant to be. But don't feel ashamed of having a miscarriage. Don't think that it's your fault. Like, it's not. And if you've lost a child, no matter if it was born already, wasn't born already, it was a miscarriage, whatever the case may be, like, you're not alone, because a lot of us go through it, and a lot of us just don't want to talk about it. So if anyone ever needs to talk to me about something like that, or is experiencing that and needs somebody to talk to that will understand them, you can feel free to message me. I'll leave my Finsta down below. You can message me on there. It doesn't matter, because I know how hard it was to go through with all this, and only have John there. Like, and no offense, but he's a male. He didn't fully understand, like, my pain. Like, I physically went through the pain. I emotionally went through the pain. I mentally went through the pain. Like, it wasn't easy. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. Sorry if it was really long or if I repeated stuff. Like I said, I'm extremely tired today, so I'm not like fully thinking, but I wanted to make this video before I forgot because pregnancy brain. And this month I have a lot of stuff going on, since it's October, so I have a lot of things going on right now. But so I'm gonna go ahead and do a moment of silence. I'll put a picture in now, for those who have lost any child due to pregnancy or infant loss, to remember them on this day. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and you want to share your story, go ahead and drop it down below in the comments or whatever. Feel free to message me if you need somebody to talk to. I'm always here. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment down below for more videos. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.